following the riots in the summer, about 1,800 people were arrested for hate crime of various sorts. Middle-aged ladies who'd said something hot-headed on Facebook, that sort of thing. And they were sent to jail. The trouble was, there was no room in the jails. And so our government decided to release men. It seems to be just the men, because it's the men's prisons that appear to be overcrowded. Men who posed a danger to women, a real physical danger, including this guy here. I'll tell you about him after I've told you. I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. This gentleman here, apparently a former actor, he was in a film called Empire State. He was arrested shortly after being freed from an 18-month sentence, which he got for assaulting his ex-girlfriend. And guess what? No sooner had he got out than he broke a restraining order and assaulted his ex-girlfriend again. He was one of 1,750 prisoners released 40% through their sentences rather than halfway under a scheme designed to prevent jails running out of space. Actually, that's not quite the case, is it? It was a scheme designed to remove people so that other people could be put into the space. And within 48 hours, Hoganson was back in jail because he'd broken a restraining order and gone and knocked his girlfriend about. Now, he wasn't the only one. Somewhere down here, he's the second prisoner freed early who's alleged to have committed a crime within hours of their release. And it should be a surprise to no one that the other one was jailed for sexually assaulting, for sexual assault of some sort. And as soon as he got out of jail, he sexually assaulted another woman, a woman who will now be traumatized by this when she's just an ordinary citizen going about her business. And this was all to protect Muslims from seeing hurty Facebook posts. Now, I want to talk mostly about the way our government and our BBC, unfortunately it is our BBC, are all singing from the same hymn sheet. Don't offend Muslims, and you can do anything you want to society so long as Muslims are mollified. And these are a couple of articles. I've been saving them up for a few weeks actually. This is about the riots in here we are. So this is about the riots in the summer, and it's a post from Darren Grimes. And this was, 5th of August. Cars and pub attacked in Birmingham. Some of you may remember there was a video that went round and it showed a man who was standing inside the perimeter of a pub. That is, there was a sort of an eating area and it was fenced off. And he was standing on his side of the fence. And there was a mob of Muslim men who were brought out onto the streets, no doubt because of Starmer telling them that the EDL were out there trying to burn down mosques. That was something the government did. But anyway, this group of Muslims were prowling the streets, and I don't know, I think this man must have called something out to them. It probably wasn't very sensible, but they came over the fence of the pub and beat him up seriously ill, and was hospitalised. I think they ruptured his liver or something. It was terrible. And this is the way it was reported by the BBC. There have been some disturbances within the past hour and a half in Birmingham after hundreds of people, they are people, But the important thing there is not that they're people, but that they were Muslim people gathered in the Bawdsley Green area of the city following false reports a march was planned in the area. That's the government's fault. Several vehicles and a pub have been attacked by a group of youths, again, Muslim youths, who broke away from the main demonstration and were wearing masks and carrying weapons. Now, if these had been white working class kids, it would have been very obvious that that's what they were. Here, they were working class Muslims and not white, mostly, I suppose, and you wouldn't know that from this. Not a word. West Midlands Police have said there have been at least 3 cases of criminal damage and 1 offence where someone was seen carrying an offensive weapon. Nothing about Muslims there. And that's what it was. It was a Muslim riot. Now, the fact that our government called that Muslim riot is neither here nor there. It was a Muslim riot. And Phil Mackey, he probably did report that. And it was all redacted by the BBC. I'm quite sure of that. Now, this is, I'm going to these are a couple of articles I've been saving up, really. It's an article by Tom Slater. But as we know, The Guardian and the BBC are all pretty much of a muchness. Take a piece that was in The Guardian this morning. Almost 3 in 4 Britons worried about far right after riots, screams the headline. So what they're telling us, they are telling people to think that it's far right because everybody else thinks it's far right, which is true according to the Ipsos poll the piece refers to anyway. So we just experienced awful race riots, which were clearly egged on by, if not actually organised by, the pathetic dregs of the racist right. Buried in paragraph 7, however, is the fact that even after the month we've had, the public remain more worried about religious extremism. And I dare say it isn't militant Buddhists who are keeping the nation up at night. Not for the first time, the public is right where The Guardian is wrong. Islamism remains our most lethal terror threat by a country mile. Since 2005, 95 people have been murdered in Britain in Islamist attacks, while the far right has slain 3. Islamism also accounts for 3/4 of MI5's caseload. And then there's this from August. I think that Slater article must have been from August as well. And she says, Hannah Baldock, who wrote the article, says, there appears to be no bounds to the useful idiocy of the BBC when it comes to enemies of liberty. At the weekend, BBC Radio London presenter Asad Ahmed, what a surprise, sought the counsel of Haytham Al-Haddad, the chair of Muslim Research and Development Foundation. Haddad, if you are blissfully unaware, is a stalwart of the Islamist far right. Not that listeners would know this from Ahmed's introduction. He referred to the Saudi-trained cleric as a highly respected imam. And that reminds me of the way Darren Grimes's article said, would you be able to guess who the perpetrators were from this BBC report? Same thing, just hiding things. Oh, now I'll tell you, well, I'll get rid of that. So again, lying by omission, really, about the true state of something. Evangelising Hate, a 2014 report from the Council of Ex-Muslims of Britain, provides an eye-opening portrait of the misogyny, intolerance and authoritarianism of Haddad and his ilk. And I'm paying particular attention to this, misogyny, because releasing this man here, knowing that he is a man who assaults women, in favour of putting in prison middle-aged men who may have said, who the F is Allah, to a policeman, that strikes me as misogyny, actually. the misogyny, intolerance and authoritarianism of Haddad and his ilk. According to the report, he thinks a man should not be questioned by the authorities if he's found to have assaulted his wife. Now you see why I brought this in when talking about this gentleman here, this fellow, because they can sort out matters for themselves. A 2018 investigation by the Times quoted him as saying that women from Western countries who had committed adultery were begging him to take them to an Islamic country in order to be stoned to death. He said that. So he's a liar. He's a psychopath. Anyone who says that women had been tracking a track to his door asking to be executed by stoning in an Islamic country has something wrong inside his head. But he is called a highly respected imam, according to a BBC programme. It's perplexing, isn't it? It would be one thing for the BBC to invite Haddad on air to challenge his views. It's quite another to present him as a highly respected imam. Now, you may ask yourselves, as I have done, why is the government, why is the BBC, why are they all giving this sort of a pass to misogyny? To a religion that is misogynistic. Let's, leave aside the fact that it's anti-democratic, anti-Semitic and anti just about every value we have here in this country. I'm talking about Britain. But why are they giving a pass to this, including violent men like this, and imprisoning people who may have actually said something disrespectful to the Muslim religion? And you can ask yourself why they're doing this. And I'm asking myself, and I can't come up with an answer. I really don't know what they think they're about. Anyway, if anyone has any suggestions, I'd be very glad to hear them. Till next time, you can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.